minutes before 8 o'clock. I apologize to our guest for making him wait. He is Captain Gale, and I did not ask him his how to pronounce his last name. I'm going to give it a shot, and he'll correct me when he comes on. Captain Gale Lazenby, he's down in the villages, correct, Robin?
Yes.
He's the captain of the village's public safety at the village community development district, and this conversation is about the trauma care. Remember last week we were debating this. There was some issues with trauma care units, and some legislators spend money, and some didn't, and some said it would water it down if we had more trauma centers, and some said no, it would be better to have trauma centers everywhere. Let's see what Captain Gale Lazenby has to say. He's been studying it longer and with more intensity than us. Good morning, Captain.
Good morning.
Where you are in the villages, correct?
That's right. I'm 11 years now with the village's public safety department, and actually I have 45 years in the emergency services business.
Okay. Now, what is the territorial pettiness that I was reading about? What does that mean?
Well, a lot of this is, of course, based upon the fact that hospitals, in order to gain revenue, need to see patients, and trauma patients, while they, in many cases, are not profitable, they do generate revenue, whether it comes from Medicare, Medicaid, federal sources, other kinds of public funding, because trauma patients tend to be patients who are in the facility, stay in the facility for longer periods of time. Well, the more you send to a trauma center, the fewer you send to other facilities, and as a result, a lot of these other facilities feel as though you're stealing patients from them, and there's where a lot of the pettiness comes from.
Okay.
I've seen this for years as surgeons have argued over what age is an adult, and a kid over 13 should be sent to a facility where a surgeon who deals with adults, and you'll hear the pediatrics will say absolutely not, absolutely not. I mean, it's
okay. I see.
It's all territorial.
I see what you're saying. So, am I guessing right that you the argument that if we had more trauma centers, it would water down the effectiveness, the resources, and all of that. You don't agree with that, right?
I think it's absolute bunk. The is better, okay? Because I'm going to deal with trauma patients on an almost daily basis, and in many cases, it may be more than one, or it might be two, or it might be three trauma patients in the course of a day. I'm in a retirement community, one of the largest retirement communities in the country. We just surpassed 100,000 individuals.
Wow.
And as a result, these individuals, my patients, my clients, are very highly susceptible to suffering trauma injuries in all kinds of situations. All it takes is for them not to lift their feet high enough when they climb a curb and to fall. Well, you take that 85-year-old individual who falls onto a concrete surface and strikes his head, and this isn't a patient I can send to my tertiary hospital, to the Villages. Villages Regional Hospital is an excellent facility that does an excellent job. But if I realize that I've got a trauma patient here, an individual who has a head injury, I need to make sure this patient gets to a specific location where they can receive very specified care. And from my standpoint, I'd be happy, I'd be thrilled if we had a trauma center here in the Villages.
And this is a wonderful example that you brought up, because you enlightened me. I was under the misconception that a trauma just involved like vehicle accidents, something of that magnitude, where, you know, life care helicopters had to be brought in and patients had to be transported out. I didn't realize that something like that would also be treated as trauma.
Oh, absolutely. You've got individuals who may have multi-system trauma from a simple fall. I mean, we see this on a routine basis. Okay, an elderly couple pull up into a parking spot in the parking lot to go to do some grocery shopping at Publix, and they're not paying an awful lot of attention. And one of the two of them trips over one of the yellow barriers, parking barriers. And when they fall, they may land on part of a car. They may land on, they'll certainly going to land on either the asphalt or concrete.
Yeah.
And
is a statewide issue, correct? What are
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, there are 26 trauma units in the state. Am I right?
Currently, yes.
Okay.
And that's based upon the idea of level 1 and level 2. Level 1 is extremely comprehensive. Places like Orlando Regional Medical Center, Shands, these are level 1 centers, and I certainly don't want to get rid of level 1 centers. Level 1 centers have the ability to do other things than just the kinds of things that level 2 can. Level 1 also has to be able to see a significant higher volume, but level 2 provides certainly a whole lot more, and is under the aegis of the American College of Surgeons. They have to meet the same American College of Surgeons guidelines as a level 2 trauma center that a level 1 trauma center needs. And they will be able to provide the primary care that's necessary to stabilize these patients and probably to bring them back to health.
Have any of the other states done anything at all that we could use as a role model? I've often thought sometimes that, gosh, it seems like we try to reinvent the mousetrap so often, whatever the expression is. I mean, is this an issue that all the states are going through right now, or do we have a state out there that's figured it out and that we can maybe duplicate?
I don't know that there's necessarily, there are other states, when it comes to level 2 trauma centers, I know that there are at least 29 states out there that require that have requirements that have standards for hospitals to offer level 2 trauma. When you look at the fact that there are 29 out of 50 states that allow level 2 trauma centers, there's obviously has to be some importance in the ability of these centers to be able to provide care. I've already seen it from here in the village.
What does it look like right now as far as our legislators in Tallahassee? What is the direction that they seem to be going?
I think based upon what we've seen that happened in the places like the Senate Appropriations Committee and in the House Health and Human Services Committee, the new legislation that will provide level 2 trauma care without all of huge amount of paperwork. And this new streamlined procedure very handily passed in the Senate, 15-1. It passed very handily in the House by 12-5. And as a result, I am very hopeful that the full House and the full Senate in the state is going to act positively on this, and that we will have level 2 trauma centers, and we will be providing better care all of the residents of Florida.
Is there any group that is opposing your opinion? In other words, to not go in this direction that is self-serving. In other words, they're feeding money. They've got lobbyists, and I'm being cynical a little bit here, but yeah, but I know it happens. So, is there any of that kind of opposition, and are they powerful?
I understand your cynicism, but just see, part of it goes back to where we started. Yes, there are groups that are opposed to this based upon what I call territoriality again. Organizations, institutions, hospitals that would say, look, we don't need these level 2s because patients can be brought to our level 1 center. Our level 1 center can handle these patients. Now, they want the patient count. They want the patient revenue that it generates, and as a result, are there other organized groups? No, there are not that I know of other organized groups that are opposed to this. It's mostly hospital by hospital by hospital by hospital.
I gotcha. Okay, and that's where the territorial part comes from.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think I understand it better now.
Yeah.
I mean, we were going over this last week, and there was very little in the articles that we were drawing from that really indicated money, and we all suspect that there's got to be money involved with this
Right.
debate. So I'm glad you came on. I appreciate you coming on to talk about this. So once again, I mean, we the people, in order to make, sounds like I'm doing the preamble, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In order to influence our legislators, we need to write them, and so it sounds like that's the whole purpose of you doing the interview, correct?
We need, absolutely. I would, right now, if we lost the trauma 2 center at Ocala Regional, I would be absolutely and he winds up climbing the ladder. The ladder gives out from underneath him. He comes down, hits his head on the kitchen counter, hits the floor, hits his head on the floor, winds up breaking a hip, winds up fracturing his skull, and needs trauma care. Now, right before Ocala came along, that meant almost always that we were going to put that 85-year-old husband into a helicopter and send them off to Orlando or send them off to Tampa. The problem with that was I left an 85-year-old wife standing there with her mouth open. And any idea how she was going to get to Orlando, how she was going to get to Tampa, how she was going to get to Gainesville, excuse me, and in many cases, because her relatives or her neighbors are of the same age, she realized that she just watched her husband loaded into an ambulance on his way to a helicopter, and it may be the last time she ever gets to see him.
Wow, that's a strong statement. And you have a good way about you. You're articulating it obviously perfectly. And I'm guessing that when you speak of the villages, you're speaking of communities like the villages all over the state.
All over the state. You have to remember that there are 4.2 million senior citizens in Florida who deserve to be able to get quality trauma care. And level 2 trauma centers will solve that problem. And right now, there are inadequate numbers. I mean, this is one of those cases. I look at Marion County. Marion County, by geography, is larger than the state of Rhode Island.
Right.
This is like turning around and saying, okay, let's get rid of the trauma center out of Marion County, and Rhode Island doesn't need one either.
Exactly.
Oh, good. Oh, wow. You're making some really good points, Captain. What a great position you are allowing us to be aware of. And I'm going to tell you, I really think that when we were talking about it last week, for many of our listeners, it was something they needed to know more about, myself included. I needed to know more about it before I had an opinion, and clearly you've helped us with that one.
And you a person, when a person goes into the medical profession, they're there to help people no matter, you know, the degree of severity of the wounds of a person, but you've got all that bureaucracy in the way. We've got wonderful hospitals here in Marion County, but it doesn't make sense that they should be fighting each other. If one hospital has a field of expertise in one area, the other one has a field of expertise in the other area, and they should all learn to get along.
You're absolutely right. And what they ought to be doing is capitalizing on their own area of expertise, using that as the point that brings the patients in, and not trying to shut down somebody else because they want a piece of the pie, and unfortunately, the pie that they're serving doesn't have all the ingredients.
Now, one of the things that did come up last week, if I could ask you to address it real quickly, was the money part, and then another caller said, wouldn't the new health care rules change all of that?
It probably will in part. The question about whether there will be an increase in trauma centers, will it harm the ability of benefits of services? Well, yes, there's no question about it. But trauma centers in and of themselves, I don't care what trauma center you're talking about, already serve a much higher percentage of Medicare patients because they're seniors. And seniors are the most likely to need trauma services. So we're looking at Medicare as a payer already, and even with the idea of Medicaid, with the incoming Obamacare health programs, yes, there's going to be an increase in the number of individuals in Medicaid, but if they're already accepting Medicare, it's not a big deal for them to shift over and accept the Medicaid as well. The issue here is the care, and to me, the money should be secondary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yes, I agree 100%. Well, thank you for lending your strong voice to this issue, Captain Gale. Is it Lazenby? Did I say your name right?
Yep, you hit it right on the head.
Okay, good. Do you want to leave us with any contact information for you or for? I guess everybody has Tallahassee's information. Do you want to leave any information for contacting, or just?
I am Village's Public Safety Department in the villages in Florida. public safety. I'm my office is at headquarters, so I work with EMS instruction on a daily basis.
Okay. Captain, thank you for being on the air with us today. Good information.
Hey, I'm glad to have had the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Joe, and I'm your host for the new show, Damage Control, every Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m. Brought to you by Damage Control Services. We're going to be discussing floods, fires, storm and tree damage, sinkholes, mold, and many other disasters that you need to know about. How to prevent and prepare for them, as well as what to do when it happens and what to expect after it happens. This is Damage Control, Tuesdays at 10:30, right here on The Source.
Here are today's headlines from The Source. WOCA Marion County Fire Rescue is reporting that a tree smashed into the roof of the Hampton Manor Assisted Living Facility in Bellevue late Saturday sometime after 10:30 p.m., breaking the interior fire sprinkler system and causing a flood. The report indicates that all 52 residents, none of whom were injured, were evacuated. Officials say 47 of the residents were taken to a sister facility, Hampton Manor in Ocala, while 5 residents went home with their families. The incident caused electrical problems and forced officials to shut off water to some areas of the facility. The report says that 25 crew members from 12 stations assisted residents from their rooms to Hampton Manor vans and shuttles. Florida Governor Rick Scott had maintained for weeks that legislators would do the right thing and agree to give every classroom teacher a $2,500 pay raise this year. State legislative leaders have been just as insistent, saying it was unlikely they would go along with Scott's proposal the way he wanted. Yesterday, House and Senate budget negotiators settled on setting aside nearly $480 million that can be used to boost teacher pay, but the proposal will require that some of the money be tied to teacher performance instead of giving out raises to every classroom teacher. Legislators also plan to offer raises to all instructional personnel and not just classroom teachers. This is a move that could also lower the amount offered to each employee. Scott had made the across-the-board teacher pay raise one of his top priorities for the 2013 session, but legislators had signaled their reluctance with the proposal from the start. They maintained that it went against the idea of rewarding teachers based on student performance, a key element of the merit pay law passed in 2011 and is scheduled to take effect in 2014. After weeks of posturing and debate, the decision to expand Medicaid in Florida or accept $51 billion in federal health care money might rest with a moderate block of a dozen or so House Republicans, while Senate Republicans appear willing to join Democrats in supporting a massive health care expansion. Many House Republicans serving in moderate districts have yet to vocally embrace or reject federal assistance. A union supporting health care expansion is targeting them with television advertisements in an attempt to influence their vote. But the group also is hearing from conservative Republicans who oppose accepting the federal money. A plan to take federal assistance requires 60 votes in the House, which would be a majority because one seat is vacant. That means House Democrats need 16 Republicans to join their 44-vote bloc. Freshman Representative Kathleen Peters, a moderate Republican from the beach town of South Pasadena near St. Petersburg, feels like she's on the campaign trail again, defending herself against negative attacks. TV ads produced by SEIU Florida, a labor union, accused Peters of putting politics ahead of working families in opposing Medicaid expansion. The problem, Peters said, is that she hasn't decided how she will vote. Peters is among half a dozen Republican lawmakers being targeted in ads in Democratic leaning districts. An environmental group and lawmakers are urging the Obama administration to reject the use of seismic air guns to help locate deposits of oil and gas off the Atlantic coast. Hunting for oil and gas deposits off the Atlantic coast with gear that produces underwater sound blasts 100,000 times stronger than a jet engine could harm or kill tens of thousands of whales and dolphins. An environmental group contends in a new report the devices called seismic air guns are routinely used during offshore geological surveys. Towed behind vessels, they fire intense bursts of compressed air that shoot sound waves and bounce echoes off the sea floor that help pinpoint promising areas for exploration. But in a report released this week, Ocala, the environmental group whose mission is to protect the oceans, argues the common energy industry practice also can have broad and devastating impacts on daily daily marine life. The Washington, D.C.-based group is pushing the Obama administration to reject the use of the air guns, along with any future oil or gas drilling in a huge swath of water stretching from Florida to Delaware. The intense underwater sound of the air guns has been shown to cause dolphins to go deaf, leaving them unable to survive. 50 lawmakers agree with Oceana, including a bipartisan group of 13 from Florida who signed a letter sent on Wednesday to the U.S. Bureau of Ocean Energy and Management, asking the agency not to open up much of the Atlantic coast to seismic airgun testing. Their letter argues that the federal government's own draft environmental study, which predicts up to 138,500 injuries to marine mammals and some 13.5 million disruptions of activities like hunting and breeding, actually underestimates the impact by relying on old and flawed data. And those are the headlines from the source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
We may not have the kind of winters they have up north, but Florida weather can be still pretty rough on your ride. And Ford Lincoln of Ocala wants to save you money and time during the Restore Your Ride service event. Right now, you can drive into Ford Lincoln of Ocala, receive a free brake inspection, and if it's determined you need brake work, you can receive up to a $50 rebate on any motorcraft brake service when you use your Ford service credit card. And if it's tires you need, Ford Lincoln of Ocala's completely satisfied service center can hook you up with up to $120 in rebates on any of the top brands, backed by their low price tire guarantee. So stop chasing all over town for this service and that service. Get it all done right, the right way at the right place at Ford Lincoln of Ocala during their Restore Your Ride event. There's also great savings on motorcraft batteries, wiper blades. You know, my dad used to say, don't wait till it's too late. Get it done now. Visit Ford Lincoln of Ocala's completely satisfied service center, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 6, and Saturdays till 5.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Thank you very much, Mr. Relatively Deep Voice Man. Is that Galen? All right. Good morning, Galen.
Hey, good morning, Larry, Robin, how are you?
Straight on the, I guess we went long with that guy. I just didn't even realize. I'm looking at the clock and realizing it's after 8 already.
Sorry, it was good stuff.
Yeah, it was good stuff. So this is WOCA Ocala. I don't know if there was a legal ID in the automation or not, but just in case. Let me make sure it gets done. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you.
How was your weekend?
It was busy. It's just one of those busy weekends where you look up and you're like, it's Monday morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that happened to me too. Yeah, I think I woke up this morning and said, no way.
I didn't get a cough to the mall, but it was busy.
No, I violated the code of conduct at the moment.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No, I was thinking about this. Now, for those who didn't hear, I went to take a picture of the new radio station, the front. You know, it's not there yet. I mean, the station is there, but the construction inside looks really good.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, I took a picture of the mall guy, the mall officer, security guard comes out,
James.
maybe 19.
Yeah.
Nice guy, doing his job, you know, you can't blame him for it. And he just didn't let me know that I'm violating the code of conduct. So, but it was real nice. But anyway, what would happen if, like, to enforce, you know what I mean? How do you enforce it? Do you not allow me in the mall anymore?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think you should test it. Find out.
Yeah, but here's
You should be the guinea pig and then report on it.
Here's the problem.
From a location outside the mall.
This would present the problem.
I agree.
I mean, if we're going to be working in the mall, I could go into the WOCA studios, but that's it. I couldn't go over to Chick-fil-A.
No. Couldn't get her lemonade.
No food for you. Hey, there's a device. Have you ever seen these soda machines you can put onto your faucet?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So they have another one that does the exact opposite. You pour Coke into it and water comes out. I'm not making it up.
Yeah, it's a filter.
Yeah.
Water filter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
it's a cola filter.
Right.
A cola filter. Anyway, so
I don't know what the point of that is.
I
Yeah.
don't need it. And it has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about this morning. So, all right. So let's just jump right into what we're going to do. Of course, Galen, you know from Life Sound that comes on the air to remind us of the importance of giving blood. The story from Friday that we all followed with the Boston bombing suspect. I don't know how I feel about my blood going to him, though, Galen. I'm sure he got somebody's blood.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that, but it's, yeah,
I know.
I mean, you would hope he's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Right? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
You know, I got some grief, by the way, for not being so forgiving
Yeah.
of him. And I started thinking about this. I thought, well, don't you have to ask for forgiveness?
Yes, you do.
I mean, he wasn't.
I don't think you do. I think you're just supposed to give it. I mean,
Oh, really?
yeah, I don't think it.
You don't have to ask.
No, nobody asked, Jesus for forgiveness, and he forgave them.
Well, we
If
had
we're
that,
going to follow that example,
well, we had that forgiveness question come up in Sunday school, and the general consensus was that we had to ask forgiveness. Now we can forgive the people that don't ask forgiveness from you to help you move forward, but it's better for the person that did the wrong to ask forgiveness, so they not only can, move on, but the people they did the bad things to can move on.
I got a much lighter subject than that.
I hope so.
That's a heavy one, right?
That is.
And the Boston Red Sox won, so we thought
All right.
about you, Galen.
Yeah, and then they lost.
All right. Well, here's what that whole thing.
Twice yesterday on a double header. That
Here's
a walk-off run. I mean, I can't stand it when they walk in a run. But anyway, go ahead.
I probably will never run a real marathon. What's it, 26 miles? But I want you to know that whenever I hear things like that, it does inspire me. It does influence me. Because it makes me say, well, if they can do that, then I can do this.
Yeah.
I can kind of put the two and two together. And
Sure.
we got short change because the Boston Marathon normally would pump up the whole country, at least me. It would pump up me and say, wow, look what they can do. They can do that whole thing, you know? What can I do? You know, even,
Right.
you know, even that reindeer run that I see on
Yeah.
Christmas,
Christmas.
I do the same thing. I watch those guys and I say, gosh, if they can do that, then I can do this. Whatever this may be that I'm thinking about. Okay, so I have some more events that are happening around the world. Most of them are running. I think all of them are running, actually. I'm not sure. Anyway, some endurance events from around the world. Are you ready for these?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
And maybe you've heard about them. You pay more attention to sports like things than I do.
You used the word grueling earlier.
Did I?
Grueling endurance.
Grueling. Yes.
I can't wait to hear this.
All right. The Marathon of the Sands is a 6-day ultra marathon, 156 miles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you heard of this?
I have.
It's the equivalent of 6 regular marathons.
Yeah, it's brutal. And it's not, it keep going when you read the description about what they run in.
Yeah.
It's the amazing part.
It's held every year in the southern Moroccan desert.
Wow.
It is considered the toughest foot race on Earth.
And do they run barefoot, or do they have shoes?
Doesn't say they run.
It's your option. I mean, first of all, it's sort of like in the blazing heat. The average temperature is like 90 degrees or something. You know, which is just, I mean, I can't imagine doing that.
By the way,
So,
Marathon of the Sands apparently is the English translation. It's actually, and I don't know how to, Marathon de Sable, Robin? D-E-S-S-A-B-L-E-S? Is that right?
Oh, that sounds right.
Anyway, Marathon of the Sands is what I'll call it. They started this in 1986.
Wow.
All right, that's 156 miles. Listen to this one. The race across America.
that's the one that's 3 months or something like that.
3 months.
The race across America, the direction has always been from the west coast to the east coast
Right.
of the United States, about 3,000 miles in 1 week.
Right. Oh, it's 1 week.
Yeah.
Wow. No.
I knew
People.
there was one
Oh.
that's like 3 months. I didn't know there was one in a week.
And this is okay. This is a bicycle. Okay. A tip.
Okay. The bicycle one. Okay, I'm familiar with that one. Yes, I am.
Typical course might be from Oceanside, California to Atlantic City, New Jersey. Hold on, let me make sure I got this right. The Tour de France is 2,300 miles. Takes about 3 weeks because it covers shorter distances each day. Unlike most multi-day bicycle races such as Tour de France, this one has no stages. The race across America, there is no specified distance to travel each day.
Oh.
There are no designated rest periods for food and sleep.
Well, you know,
Oh.
the 5 points of life used to go bike ride across the U.S.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, we sure did, and we would have people do it just to raise awareness for the 5 ways that you can save a life, and this event came up after our event, so it's kind of neat. I mean, we did it in 3 weeks. We didn't do it in a week.
So did
We
you?
had to do stop and do talks and everything else.
Oh, so did you have like relay bicycle racers?
No,
Like somebody
same-
would.
The
Oh.
same group of bicyclists did it the whole way.
Wow. Well, see, you inspired this one then.
I don't know about that.
Next time I drive to New York, I'm not going to complain about being tired. I am so tired. I just drove all the way to. Come on. These guys ride a bicycle.
We drove from, we rode bikes from San Diego up to Bar Harbor, Maine.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
How many tires did you have to change?
I was only on the ride for like 3 days.
Oh,
I was like, I can't take this.
Only
I gotta go
3
back
days.
to work.
Only 3 days.
No, I didn't ride the bicycle at all. I was like a support vehicle. I was in a van.
Oh.
okay.
Well, I could do that.
These poor people on bicycles.
That's hard too. Yeah.
You know, and the biggest issue is the saddle sores and everything else.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I can't believe it.
Oh man.
The numbness.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, not good.
No.
Did you ever hear of numb testes syndrome from bicyclists? Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah. That's
I'm not making that up.
That is
No,
a real
no, it's
thing.
true. It's a
really
real
is a
thing.
real thing.
It's like they're gone, right?
I don't know if I want to experience that.
No, who the heck wants to experience that?
No,
I mean, who's going to say, hey, look.
I don't feel anything down there, doctor.
It's going to happen, and then you're like, I'm in. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's going to say that. I
Hold
don't.
on. The phone has rung. Good morning. You're on the air.
Somebody needs to explain how a marathon became a social trend in the first place, because the guy that ran the first marathon died.
Oh,
I think that's part of it. I mean, you've got to have an opportunity for death to get some people involved.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. All right.
You know, and it's amazing that the Boston Marathon has over 27,000 people running it. And understand this, you just can't go and say, hey, I want to go run the Boston Marathon. You have to qualify to go to the Boston Marathon.
That's right.
You have to run a certain time and everything else. So it really is an honor to run that thing. And
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that some of the participants are selling their medals?
I saw that. You know, it isn't uncommon for people to sell their medals on eBay.
Even if it had nothing to do with the bomb, huh?
Yeah, but you know, I'm sorry. I like you. It's one of those things that makes you feel icky,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's just like
No, that's a good way to
it's
say it.
a
Yeah.
really poor taste.
Yeah.
yeah, and especially since yesterday there were over 1,000 runners that came out in Tallahassee and ran 5.8 just to raise funds for the victims' families.
And they have. I know the Red
Amazing.
Sox just during Saturday's game, they raised almost $1 million, and then on Friday night they raffled off all their shirts and
Wow.
things like that. So I'm hoping that money goes to the right spot.
By the way, I think Neil Diamond is on drugs.
Why?
You see him sing Sweet Caroline?
Did he?
No, I heard him say that Caroline, because he wrote the song. He's saying that Caroline is Sweet Caroline is God. He used the name Caroline in the song instead of God because he liked it better or something.
Really?
Did you hear him say that?
Oh,
I've never heard him say that.
Oh, it was on during the weekend. So he sang it where at the game. How did he do?
It was all right. I mean, it's Neil Diamond. He's in his 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, plus, let's be honest. That song is not the hardest in the world.
No, but
I didn't realize.
You got me thinking about the lyrics and if God was instead of Sweet Caroline.
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't at all. Sweet God of mine. Bam, bam, bam. What is it? You never
I don't know.
so good.
I don't know. I don't know.
That makes no sense.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
I found. Look it up. Look at Neil Diamond says Caroline is God. I don't know.
Yeah, he's losing it.
Putting more importance into that song than it really meant.
I mean, sometimes just leave the song. It's a good song.
Yeah. Well, his wife said, she said, who was Caroline anyway? Oh, it wasn't about a woman. Don't worry. That was not another woman. Don't worry.
That's right.
Here's another marathon. The Ultra Trail du Mont Blanc.
Oh, something white.
Du Mont Blanc.
Du Mont Blanc.
Guessing that's French.
Yeah,
White.
Accent.
yeah,
White mountain.
yeah. My hard time. All right, this takes place once a year in the Alps across France, Italy, and Switzerland. The distance is 166 kilometers with a total elevation gain of about 9,400 meters.
Wow.
The race is run
How
in...
many feet is that, Larry? That's what I need to know.
I don't know. I never know that stuff.
I mean, it's really difficult for me to do that, to transfer from
I know. Me
to
too.
feet.
Let's see. The best trailers complete complete the loop in slightly more than 20 hours. Most runners take between 30 and 45 hours. There you go. It's the hardest foot race in Europe.
I'll bet it is.
Wow.
You know why? You said that wasn't in France, right?
Yeah,
The Alps.
the Alps across France,
Right.
Italy, and
Well,
Switzerland. Yeah.
You know why they do that? Because they practice just in case the Germans come. They know they need to run into the other direction.
Oh,
There you go.
Come on.
yeah, that was good.
That was funny.
That was
That
funny.
was funny.
Hey, the French are fast.
Good morning, you're on here.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, Hugh.
Say, how about that dog sled race across the Yukon?
The Iditarod.
Iditarod. Well, let's have a couple of minutes here in silence for the dogs. That's going to be mighty rough on a dog.
Dogs love it.
It looks like they do, you know, when you see the pictures of it. They really get all excited.
That's what they're bred to do.
How many miles is that? You know, offhand?
It's like 160 or something like that. Larry,
Yeah,
is that on your list?
Yeah,
It's not on the list because I think it's dogs that run that thing.
yes.
Well, there is somebody behind him.
Yeah, they have 4
Thank
feet
you.
versus 2
Appreciate it.
feet.
I don't know. All right, here's another one. You ready for the Arctic Circle race?
You really don't care.
I don't know. It's a dog race. The guy in the thing is standing still.
That was for a great cause, though, isn't it?
I'm not saying it's not.
I mean, it was it insulin that it not insulin. Some type of a medicine.
Yeah, gotta hurry. Yeah, whiskey, I think.
That's right.
I think it's like 1,100 miles or something.
1,100.
Yeah.
Wow.
That got bigger than before. Before it was
I
100.
googled it, Larry. It goes
Oh.
from Anchorage to Nome.
Okay.
Oh,
1,100. Wow. That's the same distance to New York from here.
yeah.
That's like having a dog pull me all the way from here to New York.
It's all in the same state.
Wow. Yeah, all in the same state.
Wow. Well, the Arctic Circle run, you said, it's
The
going to
Arctic
the opposite end of the world.
Arctic Circle race. Competitors need to be in physical condition. Peak,
Physical
yes.
condition.
Yeah. This is 99 and a half miles. 99 and a half. It goes to the Arctic landscape of snow and ice. And north of the polar circle, there is well, I guess you run all around the world. That's what you do. You're running around the world.
Oh, wow. That's
Larry up
cool.
there.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
What you have to look out for is the
takes 3 days. The rest of the time given over vital preparation, a Greenland church service is a traditional start to the event.
You know what probably happens? They probably have to wait for the weather. You know? I mean, I'll bet you the weather is the biggest factor of that race.
That's the top of the planet. The bottom of the planet has one too on December 12th. Every year, December 12th. It's the Antarctic Ice Marathon.
Yeah, we talked to a lady that ran it too.
It takes place at 80 degrees south.
That sounds pretty low, doesn't it?
Yeah, on the planet. It's 20 degrees below 0 centigrade.
Wow.
Celsius, whatever. And the possible, let's see, this is, it's an altitude of 3,000 feet.
You know, that's one of those events you don't want to forget your jacket. I forgot my jacket. I'm cold. You're going to die.
That doesn't say how far it is. It doesn't say how far the race is. Okay.
But the lady we talked to that participated in it, she tripped over penguins. Well, no, this is 3,000.
I'm surprised she wasn't arrested.
3,000 feet, right? So how high is Denver? I mean, do people go to Denver to train and
Mile
go
high.
there?
Oh, sure, yeah. Well,
Mile high. Yeah, because that's up there.
All right, the next one is back at the North Pole. It's the North Pole Marathon.
Wow.
Let's see.
how many Santa suits do you think you see in that? I mean, let's be honest. Hey, I got a great idea. You know, there's that guy. Great idea.
Oh, this one
I'm going to dress up as Santa Claus.
This one is 26.2 miles, so it's a normal marathon. But you end at the North Pole. You end at the actual geographic North Pole.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Hey, good morning, guys. I talked to somebody that lives in Ocala that goes to the annual Leadville 100. It's in Leadville, Colorado.
Uh-huh.
Probably 4,000 feet above Denver in elevation.
Wow.
That race is even harder than the Death Valley race.
Oh, wow.
Information, guys. Talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you. See, these are the thing. This is what we got cheated out of. The Boston Marathon, we were so preoccupied with the the nasty and tragic.
Yep.
The Namibian 24-hour ultra marathon is next. I don't know how many miles. It's 126 kilometers, a distance equivalent to 3 marathons, a self-reliant race where participants must carry their own equipment.
Oh. Oh, they're like through the jungle, or what are
No
they?
Sherpa for you.
Yeah. That's right.
It takes about 24 hours. During the day, the heat in the desert can reach above 45 degrees Celsius. I never know Celsius.
Wow.
The
2 degrees at 36
I don't know.
plus 2.
All right, next one is the Badwater Ultra Marathon.
Oh.
This is also considered the world's toughest foot race. I guess we got more than one. This is a 135-mile course starting at 280 feet below sea level in the Badwater Basin in California's Death Valley, ending up at an elevation of 8,360 feet. So you're running uphill.
Wow.
It takes place annually in mid-July when the weather conditions are the most extreme. Temperatures reach more than 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
You have got to be in great shape to do these. I mean, wow. This is
The next race is considered the most grueling of all of them. Are you ready? This is the last one on the list.
yeah.
In order to think, this is the Spartathlon. Have you heard of the Spartathlon? This one, in order to...
You know you wanted to say that. Did you see that movie, Larry?
I don't know.
I saw the
Did I see that one?
I saw the original one with
300.
Douglas.
Yeah.
Oh, 300. Yeah, my son invited me to see that movie.
All right. In order to participate in this race, before I tell you about it,
There's a part in there where he goes, you know, every man, after you watch that movie, at some point in your life, you want to yell that.
Well, you do it well, Galen.
Well, you want to be, I mean, those are some, that's basically beefcake for women. I mean, it's crazy. They're like loincloths and boots,
Yeah.
which amazes me. And the battle, and all they have is the ripped abs.
That's
Feel
right.
very insignificant and inferior. They need to do something about all the photoshopping they do to those men. I'm sure pretty half of them are bulimic and unfair,
Yeah.
unjust.
ethical treatment of people.
That's right. It's just not fair. I mean, I can't live up to those expectations. What kind of role model is that?
That's right. You're the role model. You and Larry.
Yeah,
By the way, did you hear that Peter wanted to call fish sea kittens so the people wouldn't eat them?
No.
Why not? You know, they brainstorm on the stupid things that they can do. Honestly, they do. They're like, okay, let's see.
Let's see if we can get the world to start calling fish sea kittens.
Oh, well, you know what? They want what they wanted to do is you to say their name on this station.
Yeah, right.
I want you to say PETA.
It might be a violation of the moral code of conduct.
That's right. Well, this weekend I participated in some real good redneck fun, which that's a greased pig catching.
You did?
Oh yeah. Well, my kids did.
Oh,
You know, where they go and try to catch a greased pig.
Did they?
yeah.
You know, I'm proud to say that my son, my youngest son, actually caught that pig.
Oh, nice.
It was a very proud moment.
No, I got a question about that.
Photos.
Don't pigs bite?
I'm sure that they do. These aren't big pigs.
The little pigs?
You know, this little pig, he was trying to go to the market and we caught it.
Pig. And what kind of grease are they covered in?
I think they used a generic brand from Sam's.
Like vegetable?
You know, like lard.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the can of Crisco
Yeah.
that used to come in?
Yeah.
You know, and you would dollop it in there.
well,
and
isn't
you're
that
like, okay.
isn't lard pig fat?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So what are you saying, Larry? That it was, you know,
So
some kind of
they covered the pig in pig fat? How
they do.
nasty is that?
Could have been vegetable oil too, Larry.
And then they catch them,
I
And-
know it wasn't peanut oil.
and the
because
pig,
there's-
the pig's got to be angry. Is he trying to bite them?
Yeah.
he's just trying to run away.
Once they
I mean,
get him,
it's not a viral pig.
once they get him,
You grab the back legs.
that's
You
it.
hold them up.
Oh.
Larry, it's obvious that you're not from the South.
Do they pee all over you?
Yeah, I bet they
There was
do.
a moment. The pre-race moment
Yeah.
where the pig did take care of himself, and that's the exact spot in which my son caught him.
There you go.
10 minutes later, it was a beautiful moment,
Oh no!
and
Pictures and
I
video.
that half the crowd left at that point, but my son, being determined to win a box of 365 pieces of gum,
Oh
was
no.
going to get that pig, and he came out and he goes, I got it!
Yay!
And he's covered in grease, pig, and poo, and what's he want to do? He wants to give me a high five. Now, like a good father, I said, hey, congratulations. And thus, the fist pump was invented.
Yeah. Oh, the fist pump.
Yeah, you just go to the
Oh,
fist bump
you just.
at that point.
Oh,
You don't want to go.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, no. No, you don't want to do that.
No hug.
No.
And then, of course, the crowd's like, give him a hug. I'm like, no.
No, the
And
fist
did you
pump.
document it on Facebook or something with
I didn't. I didn't videotape it because I was playing kickball all day, and so I didn't bring my camera.
Oh.
No, I don't have it on video of him rolling in poo. Or I could show that at his wedding.
There you go. He's an earthly
I'm
man.
glad we get able to squeeze that in. That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
It was something else.
Well, that is grueling.
A proud moment.
That was grueling. Yeah, we'll leave it at that one. That's got to be the worst. That's worse than the Spartathlon. I think we'll just leave it. All right, Robin, we need to segue from grueling sporting events to donating blood.
Well, everybody that participates in grueling sporting events likes to push their limits, and they really enjoy when they give by pushing their limits. So they all go to Life South Community Blood Centers. They all try to donate 1 unit of blood every 8 weeks so they can potentially save 3 lives, because that's the best feeling on the planet, is to do something for others, and that's what they do in grueling sports.
There you go.
Beautiful.
And getting where's the Bloodmobile today?
Bloodmobile today, Larry, you have 2 locations to choose from. We're at the Publix on 40 East Shopping Center, and also the logo is out on 200, the one way out there almost in Citrus.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Excellent.
See, and again, just going back to the effect that these amazing, pig catchings and marathons have on the average guy like me is that, if Galen's son can catch a greased pig,
Yeah.
I can do with this. I can donate blood.
Exactly.
Sure can. I mean, yeah, and there's no poo involved.
No poo.
No poo.
By the way, Winnie is the only poo in Poo Corner.
That's right.
Correct. But he's an important because he's such a good friend.
It doesn't matter if he's the
We all need a friend like Pooh.
if you were the
It's all about him all the time.
the only anything you would be important. The only poo is important because he's the only one.
That's
Let's
right.
be honest. If you were to be anybody in Pooh Corner, who would you be? You either be Tigger or Roo, right?
I guess is that
Roo's mother made the best cookies in the world.
Yeah.
I'm not.
The baby
I don't even know. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'd be Tigger. Tigger seems like the fun.
Got their their PhDs on studying the behavior of Pooh Corner.
Oh gosh. I believe
Christopher Robin had some deep issues, I think.
and Kenny Loggins wrote a great song about it.
Holy mackerel! You know, we were going to do a show, a segment with you, Galen, where we counted the tangents.
Impossible.
Yeah.
You needed an accountant over there and his head would explode at some point.
All right. If you can't get to the Bloodmobile, go next door to the Cascades. That's what lifestyle is. Where would you go on Denell and Robin?
But next to Sweet Bay.
All right, again, you have a great day. So it was fun hearing about the pig chase.
All right, you guys are the best.
All right. Well,
Thank y'all.
thank you
Thank
again.
you, Galen.
We're going to go over to Mike Huckabee right now, and after Mike Huckabee, let's talk about this tutoring for poor children, and there's a debate up in Tallahassee.
This is the Huckabee Report for Monday. I'm Mike Huckabee. Have we entered a new digital age of terrorism? Details next.
Hi, folks. Jay Farner here, president of Quicken Loans. We're thrilled to have helped over 125,000 homeowners save money by refinancing with HARP. But there are millions more of you who could be saving big money on your home loans by getting HARPed. With HARP, you may be able to refinance with Quicken Loans even if your home has lost value. For example, if you owe $300,000 on your mortgage, but your home's only worth $150,000, Quicken Loans may still be able to help you get HARPed and start saving. Or if your current mortgage is higher than 3.99%, give us a call today at 800-QUICKEN. And for 3 years in a row now, J.D. Power Associates has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Once again, if your current mortgage is higher than 3.99%, or if you owe more than your home is worth, call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com.
For J.D. Power and Associates award information, visit jdpower.com. Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and MLS number 3030.
It took just 72 hours for the alleged Boston Marathon bombers to be identified, and that's partly due to the internet. Having thousands of people poring over cell phone photos helped to quickly identify possible suspects with backpacks. This could also be the first success in a new wave of terrorist recruiting based on social networking. Radical Islamists now use the internet to seek out disaffected young people who are already in America and then try to turn them. Just as the internet made every American a political commentator, it's also now put the responsibility on all of us to be vigilant online. We call social network contacts our friends, but if somebody is really your friend, wouldn't you notice that he was posting jihadist videos? From now on, we better start noticing. Thursday, the George W. Bush Presidential Library opens on the SMU campus in Dallas. As is the tradition, all the living presidents will be on hand. Both of the Bushes, Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, and Barack Obama. And now that we know the terrorist nature of last week's explosions at the Boston Marathon, you can bet that security is going to be even tighter than originally planned. Since leaving office, Bush has kept a low profile, refusing to criticize his successor, even as he was routinely blamed for things that went wrong years after he left office. Bush told USA Today that he's truly happy to be out of the limelight, considering the vilification that he endured in office. That's understandable. Some people still can't let it go. Police expect protesters to show up, even at the opening of his library. But it's worth remembering that for 8 years, his critics on the left accused Bush of overstating the terrorist threat. But after 9/11, on his watch, there was never another successful terrorist bombing on U.S. soil. The small Texas town of West is literally picking up the pieces after last week's devastating fertilizer factory explosion. The full scale of the catastrophe is becoming clear. Official death toll reached 14 Sunday, with about 200 injured. Many homes were completely flattened. The local middle school is probably damaged beyond repair, as is the nursing home, which is just 750 feet from the factory. Luckily, the residents were all evacuated safely. Finally, the IRS announced that this summer their offices are going to close for 5 days of unpaid leave. That's to offset the budget shortfall. Now, I'm telling you this because when President Obama is trying to scare the public into demanding an end to the sequestration cuts. Somehow, I doubt he's going to mention shutting down the IRS. And this is the Huckabee Report.
You take your 6-year-old to the playground. You watch her go down the slide, then run over to the swings. Another mother strikes up a conversation. You take your eye off your daughter for just a few seconds. You look back at the swings, and she's gone. Your heart drops into your stomach. You jump up, your eyes searching. You cry out her name. Lily? Lily? From the top of the slide, you hear a voice. Mommy, watch me! Every parent knows that feeling. Imagine if she were actually abducted. Go to wirelessamberAlerts.org. Sign up for free Amber Alerts on your cell phone. When an Amber Alert is issued in the areas you've chosen, you'll receive a free text message. If you spot the vehicle, the suspect, or the child described in the alert, call 911. Sign up today at wirelessamberAlerts.org. A child is calling for help. This message brought to you by the Wireless Foundation, the U.S. Department of Justice, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Ad Council.
The Huckabee Report is brought to you by Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, Ocala.
Howdy. I want to invite you to Dairy Queen for a great deal and a great meal. Right now, Dairy Queen is offering a hot, juicy quarter-pound cheeseburger meal, including the quarter-pounder with cheese, a fry, and a medium drink for only $4.99. And you can add a sundae for only $1. So if you love real grill cooked burgers, cooked fresh to order, come get a great meal for only $4.99. Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
We may not have the kind of winters they have up north, but Florida weather can be still pretty rough on your ride. And Ford Lincoln of Ocala wants to save you money and time during their Restore Your Ride service event. Right now, you can drive into Ford Lincoln of Ocala, receive a free brake inspection, and if it's determined you need brake work, you can receive up to a $50 rebate on any Motorcraft brake service when you use your Ford service credit card. And if it's tires you need, Ford Lincoln of Ocala completely satisfied service center can hook you up with up to $120 in rebates on any of the top brands, backed by their low price guarantee. So stop chasing all over town for this service and that service. Get it all done right, the right way, at the right place at Ford Lincoln of Ocala during their Restore Your Ride event. There's also great savings on motorcraft batteries, wiper blades. You know, my dad used to say, don't wait till it's too late. Get it done now. Visit Ford Lincoln of Ocala's completely satisfied service center, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 6, and Saturdays till 5.
Why are so many Florida residents racing to the Walt Disney World theme parks to rediscover their all-time favorite classic attractions and explore what's new? They got a great deal on the 3-day Discover Disney ticket for just $119 plus tax. And why should you be racing to WOCA.com right now? Because you could win your tickets from the source. So get going. Visit WOCA.com for full details on how to win your 3-day Discover Disney ticket.
Ocala Business Leaders is inviting you to an exciting opportunity to meet some of the movers and shakers of our business community at the Home and Business Expo, Saturday, April 27th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. This is your chance to network with retailers, home builders, business services, and more. It'll be at the Marion County Extension Auditorium. You could win a valuable door prize, and you'll definitely get some free food. For details and vendor opportunities, call 352-671-9292.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
All right, 22 minutes before 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Monday morning. I have a topic to bring to the show today, the Open for Debate segment that we do. And I am also going to allow you to bring up something else if this is something that you're just simply not interested in. I don't know if this is a heavy topic for many of you. It might not be, but it is a topic that is being discussed in Tallahassee. So if we don't debate it, at least I'm letting you know about it because it is something that is being debated. The story out of Boston brought a lot of tangent stories, a lot of other stories regarding what to do with people who commit such crimes as the two that we believe were responsible for Friday for the bombings last Monday?
Yes.
guess I could go on. And I'll be creating a tangent of my own since I didn't even bring a topic up yet. But one of the things I think that came out of that was there's obviously a divide in people's opinions on how we handle people who have committed an act of terror, in my mind, an act of treason, and so if you, and I know it's on your minds right now, so I don't want to deny you the opportunity to talk about it. Okay, I just want to say that. And it needs to be talked about. But also, up in Tallahassee right now, an issue regarding your money.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to students. And let me just read you what it is. And again, if we don't even talk about it one time, I'm okay with it. I just think it's important that you know about it. If we don't talk about it and you're interested in it, I found the article in the Tampa Bay Times online. Simply tampabay.com, and it was dated Saturday. Here's what it says. It's the fight over subsidized tutoring in the Florida legislature has come down to a quiet confrontation set against an unlikely backdrop, a series of budget talks between the House and the Senate. As the session winds down, the fate of the controversial program is being haggled over in private because of a last-ditch effort to tie reforms to the state budget process. On one side, the Florida House. The Florida House, backed by superintendents of the state's largest school systems, wants to end mandated tutoring for poor students and give districts control over the money, presumably so they can do it on their own.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused as to why they would want it one way over the other. It seems like it's going to pay for it. It's going to pay for it.
That's
What
right.
difference does it make? But that's one side. On the other side, in the Senate, their plan, which is, by the way, backed by the for-profit tutoring industry, aims to keep tax dollars from flowing, not from flowing, but aims to keep them flowing to private contractors. Also adds some unidentified accountability measures, which I guess has voters and it's a debate tool. You need to know that you can't have things undefined, unaccounted for. Anyway, both sides this past Saturday morning, and they have not reached a deal, which is why I thought it would be a good topic to debate. The sticking point in the talks is whether school districts should have the option of hiring outside tutors for their most vulnerable students, or whether they should be required to. And by the way, P.S. I want to add something here. When they say poor students, it almost implies that if you're poor, you're going to be a bad student. I don't believe that at all. I'm sure.
Right.
The big deal is that if you are a rich kid and you're a poor student, mommy and daddy are going to take you out of that public school who they are blaming for your problems.
Yeah.
And put you in a private school because they blame the public schools. But anyway, the rich kids have another avenue. The poor kids don't. So it's not like the poor kids are the uneducatable ones. So just wanted to throw that in there. Subsidized tutoring or supplemental educational service came under scrutiny in Florida following a Tampa Bay Times investigation published in February. In a series of stories, the newspaper showed that criminals were earning tax dollars running tutoring businesses, and lax regulation had allowed rampant overbilling in the $100 million program. It's an important part of the story you need to know. State Education Commissioner Tony Bennett, not the singer, who has supported more flexibility for school districts, pledged changes while leaders of districts statewide called for an end to the program, which was designed to help poor children in failing schools. And poor children in successful schools too, by the way. But so far this year, the legislature's efforts at reform have flagged. Even the plan now being pushed by the House initially got a cold reception. Earlier this month, State Representative Kathleen Passidomo, a Republican from Naples, unveiled the proposal as an amendment to an unrelated education bill, but the idea got no traction in the Senate, which of course, there's one thing we mostly agree on. Those of us who disagree typically on the show seem to agree that nothing should be added to anything. Everything should be individually voted upon.
Exactly.
Private tutoring firms have gotten a cut of that money for the past 6 years when Florida came in line with the federal requirement to hire outside tutors. State lawmakers passed a law to preserve the program last year when the Obama administration granted Florida freedom from the federal requirement. The new law required districts to pay fewer federal dollars to tutoring companies, but still resulted in more than $50 million set aside statewide.
That's right.
So those are the two sides. So hopefully, there's more to the article. Again, if you don't want to debate this topic, I understand. If you do, you are invited to, but at least it's out there. If you want to look it up, go to the Tampa Bay Times website, which is tampabay.com. And I'm sure you can probably find similar articles from other publications. But the debate simply this, the Florida House versus the Florida Senate in this one, regarding whether or not poor children should be receiving state money for tutoring programs, or should it go to private tutors? It sounds like the kids still get tutored either way.
Exactly.
It's just who gets the money that's the issue here. All right. Good morning, Dick. Right. Good morning, Dick. You're first.
Hey. Good morning.
How you doing?
All right. One quote for two subjects. Hosea 4:4 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." And that applies to this school issue, where the schools train the kiddies that they are animals, and then when they act like animals, everybody acts surprised. With the government media complex in place, where the private, shall we say, well, what is it? 6 corporations own and control over 90% of the news media in the United States. When that with that situation in place, people have to hunt and peck for the truth. The same thing applies with the people, credible witnesses, who reported officials with bombs, drug sniffing dogs, and on the marathon, marathon route. And when asked about it at the first press conference, the government officials denied that there was any training exercise going on prior to the bomb. Now, where are these witnesses? Some people already got it up on YouTube, and of course people could say, well, YouTube, that's crazy. Anything's on there. But apparently these are credible witnesses operations, of course, goes way back. And
Well, what are you saying? I mean, are you
what am I saying? I'm saying,
let me ask you directly. Are you saying that the government did this?
I'm not saying. I want more. I want to know where these businesses are. The same thing happened with Oklahoma City. The 9/11 bombings, the whole thing. People call for other investigations, and nothing happens. Now, I don't trust the government, just like Thomas Jefferson and George Washington said, government is force like fire. It is a fearful servant and a
Well, you fought back a little bit just now when I asked you what are you saying. So I'm curious why you're saying it then. I mean, why would you be so forceful? I'm just asking a question. Are you?
All right, I'll tell you why. Because of people like Diane Frankenstein and Chuck Schumer that apparently run the United States, you know, where the legislation is going.
So what do you? I mean, I'm still confused what you think here.
Yeah.
When the government wants to deprive you of your rights, in this case, the big subject has been the Second Amendment and immigration.
How does that apply to this?
Okay.
I mean, these kids used what they call pressure cooker bombs. They didn't use guns.
Right.
Okay. But immigration is involved, and they're talking about legalizing another 10 or 15, 20 million illegal immigrants.
But they're legal citizens, the bombers.
No, we're talking about legalizing people who should not be. They should be deported. And it's a scam. I'm sorry. I'm just very skeptical after dealing myself with the government
So do you
most of my adult life.
So do you think the whole thing of the bombing was actually planned by the government?
I will say that is a possibility for sure.
Okay. That's
Okay.
what you, obviously what you
Next
think.
case. Bye.
I don't think so.
No, I don't either.
Good morning. You're next.
Good morning, Larry, Robin.
Hi, Sonny.
I have to agree with Dick to a certain extent.
What? That those two kids were somehow put up by the U.S. government to do this?
No, not that. But I believe that there were possible signs, things that were
Dick was saying.
But anyhow, I'd like to get back to your topic.
Okay.
The school tutoring deal. That used to be handled by the schools themselves. And since when does the state government, it sounds like they want to emulate New York or something. I don't know. The people in Tallahassee. But you even have the smart children. You know, the higher IQs, you know, the so-called geniuses.
Uh-huh.
A lot of them do require tutoring also, especially when you get into certain higher maths where, you know, the answer doesn't really count. It's how you came to the answer. I mean, you know, some of these things get a little off the wall when you get into super sophisticated mathematics. They don't care really about the answer. It's how you derive that answer and what theorems and facts you use to get there. But even those kids that are in that kind of category, a lot of times will need tutoring. It's amazing how some of this works. That's should be up to the schools and the school districts. Where does the state get off hiring private contractors? When I was in high school, I had to have some tutoring, and the tutors were teachers that either wanted to make some extra money or wanted to help the kids or both.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just do not comprehend this. I mean, you see the thing in this in the papers here, we even down to local government, they got millions to throw at the rich people, but when it comes to the citizen taxpayer citizen, maybe some people that need some kind of financial assistance as far as taxes go, property taxes especially, they can't help anybody. I mean, there are certain areas in Florida, they have that double exemption. We don't have it here in Florida, but we got millions to $1. And the tax increase would have been just would have put them out of their house.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
I have to say to certain people in the county, they've gone out of their way to help some of these people, but this person showed up at the county commission meeting. Had they not shown up at the county commission meeting, they probably would have eventually been thrown out of their houses. And yet we have money for big business. We're going to throw in, what is it, $100 million budget for tutoring?
There you go. No, I'm with you. Yeah, and so in other words, yeah, I'm leaning that way too. As far as what I can see, it looks like my feeling on this is that the schools should be the ones who should take care of this. That's probably the best idea. And you're right. At least I agree with you. I don't know that we're right, but I agree with you that the for-profit tutoring industry is probably manipulating the Senate up in Tallahassee.
Well, the other thing is, as far as the poor are concerned, they get free breakfast, free lunches, and on Fridays they even fill a knapsack to bring home so that they have something to eat over the weekend. Excuse me, but I think the state and the federal government, between Medicaid and welfare, each one of them get over $700 a month just for that purpose. Plus they get these coupons and things to take advantage of.
Well, the problem with bringing the food and all that in there, you're comparing two different pools of money.
Yeah.
All right. I understand.
Is that there is an awful lot of expenditure
There's money.
on for one class of people and not the other.
No, that's and I don't disagree with that. Okay, thank you, son. I appreciate that.
Well, have a good day.
You too. All right. Good morning. You're next.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
I have a new phone, so bear with me. Whoever the gentleman is that called before Sunday, somebody actually asked the governor of Massachusetts about that false flag business, and he just looked at him and said, no. Next question. It's insulting, embarrassing. Well, you know, I'm embarrassed about it. But no, the U.S. government didn't blow up Twin Towers. They didn't bomb the Boston Marathon. They didn't blow up the problem with actual investigations and fact finding and stuff like that. But, you know, the more tinfoil hat brigade we have, the less we have of actual fact. And it's gotten out of hand. Now it doesn't really matter what happens. It's some sort of massive conspiracy, and it's getting embarrassing. And right, Sonny was actually comparing two different types of money and that sort of stuff. And, you know, my kids go to public school, and there are people that qualify for free breakfast or free lunch or whatever that maybe don't need it if their folks were a little bit more
frugal,
smartly use their money smarter, but they don't. And I'm not willing to let a kid go hungry because their parents bought an extra carton of cigarettes or whatever.
Exactly.
And there are just some things that I don't mind my tax money going for, and feeding a kid in school and sending a backpack home with, you know, beefaroni. It is just, I just don't mind that. They're just things that are worth paying for and making sure kids got something to eat because their parents are irresponsible. That's one of the things that I don't mind paying for.
And before you say goodbye, what are your thoughts on the tutoring thing?
Well, it looks like that while it's true the kids are so theoretically going to be tutored either or, if you take too much of the strings off of it, then that money can be redirected. So I'd have to see exactly how they were talking about taking what the strings were. I'd have to read the article better, what the strings are and what they ensure. And a lot of people think that, oh, well, private industry can always do it better than public money, but that's just not always the case. And if we ask teachers that to do this, you know, then they should be paid just like anybody else.
Right.
On the other hand, if you're paying a private company, a tutoring industry for it, they don't always have the same ends in mind. I really want to see if there's money available. I want to see be used for tutoring, if possible, because that is very expensive. That I do know because I tried to get some. But we've got to figure out a way to means a little extra for this group of people because they need to be enabled to keep up with the larger class. And then I don't think that that's a bad use of educational dollars. It's
well,
targeting what's needed.
Yeah. Right now, I'm leaning in this. Yeah, I guess I'm leaning in favor of the superintendent's position here. In other words, opposing the for-profit tutoring.
Yeah.
However, I'm with you. Is in the part of this that I feel like there might be more to this than I really understand.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit more to it.
But yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't quite get it either. I think the Tampa Bay Times did a fair job letting us know what this was about. I don't think it was a great job. It was.
I think maybe just either. It's not just an either or situation. And you know, when you and I were young, we were taught that teachers, firefighters, police, and these were people that you treated with respect. That these were the good guys. And lately, it seems like if you say someone is a teacher, then they're automatically some sort of, you know, sucking at the public trough kind of thing. And you're like, excuse me?
Yeah,
you know,
really.
People with 4 years of college and, oh, well, they make way more money. They make more money than you do because, like me, you have a high school education. They have college degrees. They're supposed to make more money than you do.
There you go.
You know? All right. Y'all have a good day.
No argument there. All right. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Larry, Rob.
Yeah.
Again. Number one, taxpayer dollars is taxpayer dollars. You know, I don't comprehend the difference.
Well, let me just let me comment on that.
There's more resources.
I understand that taxpayer dollars are taxpayer dollars, but the reason why it's important to recognize the different pools of money is because that's what the debate is about. The debate is about a certain pool of money that exists and what to do with it. I realize that there's a bigger amount of money if you add it all up, but that's not what's being debated in Tallahassee. What's being debated in Tallahassee is that specific pool of money just for tutoring children.
Oh, I agree, Larry. That's what Trump's saying. How do you differentiate between the private tutor and the so-called public tutor? I mean, or corporations that, you
I think the difference is
selling the service.
the difference is that if I want my son to have a private tutor and there's no public money for a private tutor, then I gotta pay him myself.
Yes.
As opposed to your tax money paying a private tutor for my student.
The point of the matter, Larry, is the education. And it seems to me that they're using an awful lot of money for everything else, but even though they're calling it, it comes under the so-called education.
Okay, I understand what you're saying here. All I'm trying to say is our legislators in Tallahassee right now are trying to say yes or no to one specific question.
Yeah.
And that's the question I wanted to bring up to the airwaves. How do you feel about this so that way we know what to say to our legislators?
I already said I felt about it. It does not belong up in Tallahassee. It belongs with the individual school board and the teachers that are teaching your child, not some.
That's right. I heard you say that. I heard you say that, and that means, it sounds like to me that it means that you are on the side of the Florida House.
Yeah.
The Florida House and the Florida Senate are divided on this particular issue, and which side do you take was my question.
All right, well here's another thing on tutoring. You know that the advanced students sometimes actually need tutoring simply because they're going for maybe
well,
credit in high school.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Let me finish. Then you have other students who
all right. It doesn't
require tutoring just to get into the make sure that they have a passing grade.
All right.
All this is being decided in Tallahassee.
When the word poor is being used here, it means financially poor. It doesn't mean poor grades.
I understand that.
So it could be a great student who just doesn't have much money.
Yes.
That's okay. Well,
and
I don't know if you understand.
And you've had students, what I was also trying to say is that you also had students in advanced classes, etc., who for time, what are those special time requirements,
out of time. With 3 minutes late. Thank you.
Basically,
All right. We got to go. I have to push forward. I just don't know what to say. It's 3 minutes after. We'll be back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. Bells will toll across Boston at 2:50 p.m. Eastern Time today during a moment of silence to mark the one-week anniversary of the marathon bombings and to salute the victims. The surviving Boston bombing suspect is conscious and being interrogated sporadically by investigators. Police are not commenting on what he's telling them. Stunned colleagues at UMass Dartmouth say the bombing suspect attended classes and even a party in the days after the attack. They say he seemed unfazed by events, though he did say tragedies happen all the time. Investigators in West Texas hope to crawl into the cradle left behind by last week's fertilizer plant explosion to search for clues to the cause. Most of the casualties were first responders. Depression is contagious, at least among college students. Notre Dame research found students mimic their roommates' cognitive styles. Reese Witherspoon was apologizing after being arrested for disorderly conduct when her husband was stopped for suspected DUI in Atlanta. The arresting officer says after she got out of the car twice, he told her to sit on her butt and be quiet. This is ABC News.
Jim Twitchell is a senior master technician at Ford, and once he starts talking about brakes, there's no stopping him. Jim?
Mike, brakes are the most important system on your car as far as I'm concerned.
Sure.
And when we do an inspection, we check the pads and shoes for thicknesses. We check the rotors and drums for wear, any kind of binding or worn out.
See your Ford dealer today and get Motorcraft brake pads installed for $99.95 or less. Now with a $25 mail-in rebate. Plus another $25 when you use the Ford Service credit card. That's just $49.95 or less.
Jim's very serious about brakes, which means you should be too. Carry on.
We check the binding of the calipers, uneven wear of the pads.
While we're young, Jim.
Stuck linkages, leaks.
Yeah, if we could wrap this up.
All the system hoses, emergency brakes.
Look at that, I grew a beard.
All their cables, uneven wear of the pads, master cylinder, and your ABS unit.
Taxes extra. Rebate by check. Subject to credit approval. Pads or shoes on most cars and light trucks. One axle. Excludes machining, rotors, or drums. See participating Ford dealer for rebate details through 5/31/13.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
else? We have on the phone Heather Drew. You probably know the name, especially if you're a golf lover. She's the golf pro who stays in the game despite her diagnosis of relapsing, remitting multiple sclerosis. And she's coming down to our area tomorrow. She just told us off the air. She'll be, yeah, I think she's in a tournament down in the Villages. It's part of the Legends Tour. She's also the official, I think she's the official senior tour. It is the official senior tour of the LPGA, Ladies Professional Golf Association. You can tell how much I play golf, right?
Me too.
But you know, I was asking if she was going to golf at the golf course that Jim Beckett.
The links, that's Spruce Creek. Yeah. What's that? Nancy Lopez in the Villages.
Okay. We figured that out, right?
Yeah.
All right. There's a lot of credentials here, but the one thing I wanted to say is this: that we were talking this morning about things like the Boston Marathon that inspire us to do better, to become. You know, if you hear about somebody running a marathon, you say, if they can do that, I can do this. You know, well, if Heather can play golf the way she does and still have to deal with the disease that would keep many people from doing anything, then I guess I can do my little share in life as well. Heather Drew, it's an honor to be able to speak to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Larry and Robin. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Where are you?
I'm in Palm Springs, California.
Oh my goodness!
Wow!
It's early here.
You got up early, and you're flying out here tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
Gosh.
I'm flying into Tampa tomorrow. I'll be in Tampa tomorrow night at about 10 o'clock, and then I'll be driving up to the Villages on Wednesday morning.
Oh wow! And do you do this a lot? Do you fly all over the place to play golf?
Yeah. Actually, I do that. That's life of the professional golfer, I guess.
That's
not a bad life, so I can tell you.
That's cool. So you don't have a bus like a rock star. You just have an airplane, huh?
I wish I had a bus like a rock star. Maybe I'm going to start looking into that.
Well, how do you pack your clubs and everything when you fly all over the place?
Well, luckily, they've designed these great these great airline bags for your clothes and keep them pretty safe. And you just give them to the sky cap and say, "These are my babies. Please take care of them."
Aww. Nice.
So give us a little bit of your biography. What's your story?
Okay, well, my story is I played on the regular tour, the LPGA tour, for diagnosis of a very, serious illness, it does kind of throw your life loop, and it did mine. But at some point I had to get my head squared, on my shoulders, get my act together, and go back to what I love, and that was golf. And so, I that's what I did do, and I played after my diagnosis. I played 3 more years on tour, and then I decided to retire just because I wasn't playing all that well. I was making a lot of money, so thought I needed to maybe try something new. And then I caddied actually for 11 years on the LPGA tour.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I've done a couple of different things in the field of golf. So it's all been great. I mean, I've enjoyed each experience for what it was.
So being a caddy after your previous career, was that like being a roadie for again?
Yeah.
I'm comparing you to a rock star.
That's right. We got some band references.
Yeah, and I don't know where that came from, but I mean, is it a step down, or did the people who were playing say, "Oh my goodness, I know you could do this better than me"? Were you intimidated to them?
I hope I was never intimidating, but I did came to that job with some chops, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I bet you did. Yeah, sure.
Because I ended up caddying mostly for people who knew me and also who played with me. So they knew that they knew my background. They knew where I was coming from.
Yeah,
and
right.
And I think I would hope that everyone I caddied for would say that was an asset. I mean, because I knew what it was like.
Yeah, anybody who's reasonable would appreciate the fact that somebody like yourself was caddying. Can we talk about the disease a little bit?
Absolutely.
Relapsing, remitting. What does that actually mean?
Okay, so my form of MS is like I will have periods of good health with little spikes of what we it's termed an exacerbation, where you might have a problem. And the kind of symptoms that I have, the strange and confounding thing of MS is that in relapsing MS is that my symptoms might be completely different than somebody else who has the same disease. Like what I experience is numbness and weakness and of people have vision problems. You know, there's mobility issues, but it's you know, what I've done is, you know, I decided to kind of take the bull by the horns and do something about it. And I was diagnosed in 1996, and in 2000 I started on a drug therapy called Copaxone, and it's a daily injection. And I've been on that now for, what is that, 13 years. And you know, that has really, you know, it's the one thing that I can do for myself that's proactive, and I know, you know, I mean, actually it's not the one thing, it's part of the three-part thing that I do with it, which is the medication. I try to live, you know, somewhat healthfully. You know, as a golfer, you guys don't play golf, but I bet you know some golfers, and we're not that healthy.
We played golf one time.
Yeah, when you're forced to for charity, I bet.
We played. Yeah, we played for League of the Veterans. Yeah, and the man we were talking about, he was our teacher.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, he was our whatever you call our. He's golf college. He's the founder of a golf college. But let me ask you this: so in other words, the way it affects you is numbness. Is it extreme numbness, or is it just like when your foot falls asleep, that kind of thing? Or?
No, I mean it's like you can't feel anything. I get numb. For me, it's about mid-chest down, and you know, because of a few times that it's happened, it's been similar.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, you know, so it's pretty extreme, I would say, and you know, so I told you I live in California, and I'm fortunate enough that I actually have a pool since I live in Palm Springs, and I knew I was in the one episode that I was having that was really the one that prompted me to go on to medication. I knew I was getting better finally when I walked outside and I could feel the coldness on the concrete on my feet. You know, I hadn't felt that for probably 3 months.
Oh my goodness! Now, do you take the medicine all the time, or only when you have symptoms?
No, it's part of my daily regimen. I just get up and take my shot and go on with my day.
And is it a nerve thing? I mean, is muscular sclerosis a nerve?
Yes,
what do you call
it has to do with it's the myelination on your nerve fibers gets interrupted. So,
do you think that because you are an athlete and you are so active that you might not be here today because you might have succumbed to it?
I don't think so. I mean, I think I think what the athlete part of me has helped for in my case is just, you know, I'm bullheaded and, you know, I'm determined, but pretty much, I mean, you know, I think what I want to, you know, what I like to do is I want somebody who's newly diagnosed, like I was, you know, 16, 17 years ago, to see what I'm doing and go, hey, you know, she can do that, I can do X. You know, whatever their X is.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
It's just that, you know, look at, you know, my golf game isn't what it was when I was playing, you know, at the height of my career. I mean, I'm not going to kid you with that, but I mean, I'm still playing and I can still shoot close to par. And, you know, it's like if I can do that and show somebody, because when I was diagnosed, I mean, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I was like, uh-oh,
the whole
I'm
world.
an athlete.
Yeah.
You know, am I going to be able to play golf anymore? And, you know, really, you know, when I was caddying too, I mean, if people saw me carrying those, you know, big bags, you know, that was, gave them, you know, some hope that, oh, okay, if she can do that, you know, like I can do whatever it is that I want to do.
Oh, wow.
You know, with little interruptions, you know, I mean, it's not perfect, but, you know, you gotta just, I mean, I just hope that people can find what they like to do, and then...
Does the multiple sclerosis define you, or do you resent it seeming like it defines you? In other words, we talk on the radio to a couple of radio people, we're going to talk about that, but in your real world, I'm wondering how much of it actually has a role, or is it just minor? You take the medicine, you forget about it.
No, I take the medicine. I mean, you know, and that gives me like somewhat of a position of power over MS.
Yeah, right.
If you want to think of it that way, but MS, it does not define me. I mean, it is, for a while it did.
Yeah.
You know, initially after I was diagnosed, sure, absolutely it did. You know, but now, I mean, it is it's just another part of who I am.
It seems like you're totally strong, not just for yourself, but for your family and friends. They might feel more devastated about you having it than you.
I think that's probably totally accurate. themselves are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, you have to be strong. I mean, I have to be strong for everybody. I mean,
but at the same time, it helps, I guess, the rest of us to know about it, because that's what, in addition to you being great at one thing, the fact that you have something else that could be a burden and could have prevented you from being great at that one thing. You know, in your case, it's golf.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps. I don't know. It vicariously, I think we're all inspired by people who do great things. I mean, the elderly man who fell down from the bombing in the Boston Marathon. I mean, who wasn't inspired by the fact that he got up and went across the line?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That was unreal. And I mean, you know, I don't get up every day and go, I mean, you know, I'm an inspiration, but I mean, I hopefully by my actions I can be.
Right.
But that's what you're doing right now, because that tournament in the villages is a fundraising event.
Yes.
It's for charity.
Yes, it's the Walgreens Charity Classic, and this is their second event. They also put another event on for us in Phoenix. It's Sun City, as a matter of fact, and yeah, it's a charity event. It should be really great. I mean, if you know, in your listening audience, I know down there's got to be a ton of golfers.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, they're going to see players, you know, like Nancy Lopez, Patty Sheehan, Pat Bradley, Lisa Neumann, who's she's a Solheim Cup captain for Europe this year.
Wow.
Allen's probably going to be playing. She's the American Solheim Cup captain. Beth Daniels is probably in the field. I mean, so there is. I mean, you know, it's names that I could go on and on. I mean, if there's golfers in the area, you know, in your listening area, if they know women's golf at all, they're going to know those names.
And
they're going to be at that tournament.
And we can go as spectators, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you playing as individuals or as teams?
No, we play as individuals.
Uh-huh.
It's an individual event, and so and actually, what I have to do is I've got to qualify. So I'm not in the field. I'm coming down to qualify on Thursday and hopefully get in the field. That's my goal.
How do you do that? How do you qualify?
I have to
you're
beat
awesome.
everybody else.
Oh!
It's like auditioning.
Oh!
Exactly. I have to be number one.
Oh my gosh. Aren't you scared? You're kind of nervous, right?
Oh, yeah, it's always
Well, we're not done yet, but I just want to repeat what we're doing here. Heather Drew is our guest right now. She's out in California. She's going to be in the villages, well, actually in Tampa tomorrow, and then driving up to the villages on Thursday, right? Or
on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, and that's when you do the qualifying, and then if you pass that test, you're in on it.
Then I'm in on it. Then we start the tournament on Saturday.
And what I'm not mentioning is something that she does not identify her, but it helps us become inspired because she is awesome at golf, and she has relapsing, remitting multiple sclerosis, and it manifests itself as with Heather, as far as numbness. It sounds like your feet go totally dead. How do you walk?
Very carefully.
Yeah, because you might break something and not even know it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you just I just put one foot in front of the other.
So some people with the same disease actually have, they don't go blind, but they have temporary loss.
Yeah, they can't. I mean, yes, there's definitely some vision issues. Yeah, I mean, you know, imagine how many nerve fibers you have in your body, and you know your own body is attacking itself. So you know, it manifests itself in many different forms, and you know, and I can really only just talk to what I have.
And so the Walgreens charity that you're playing for is to raise money to do research for multiple sclerosis? No. Okay.
It's their charity. To be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what.
Okay.
What it is, but it's not for MS.
Okay. I don't. Do they have Walgreens in California?
Oh yeah.
Are the walls green in that store? Because they're not green in Florida.
No, they are not green out here.
I don't understand that name. But.
What do you say to the young people that they have a mission in life? They have this passion, say they are golfers and they compete, and then all of a sudden they come down with an affliction. How do you relate to them and, you know, tell them that they can overcome this when at the moment it seems like they can't overcome anything?
I would hope that just by having them see other people in their similar situations who have come through the, you know, that dark period and are now, you know, being inspired by the people who've been there before you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to have hope in your own situation by people who are have done what you're going through. And come out on the other side.
Can we ask you a little bit about you?
Sure.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up mostly in California, but I was born in St. Louis, and I also lived in Chicago for a little while. But I've lived mostly in Southern Cal.
And the little bit of information that was sent to me says you were playing golf as a little girl. How little?
I was about 7 years old. My dad was a pretty good golfer, single digit, and single digit handicap.
Okay.
And he and I used to go out. I have 3 older brothers, and none of them were really interested in playing golf. My dad and I got to play together every Sunday.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So
that's
cool. Pretty cool.
And do they regret it now? Do your brothers regret? Oh, man, we should have gone.
One does. He's a golfer now, and he's like, oh, I should have taken advantage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah, why not? And so at what age did you move to California? When
I was a baby, we moved. My dad was in television, so we moved around a lot. He was in the news division for CBS.
Oh,
so,
I see.
I was born in St. Louis. We moved to California. Then I lived there for about 8 years, and we moved back to St. Louis. To Chicago, then back to California.
Did your dad do sports at all for CBS?
No, he was in the news department. He was like a general manager of news stations.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious if so as a child you didn't go on like he wasn't covering the sports anywhere.
No, but luckily he always had access, so I got to see the St. Louis Blues play, hockey. I mean, we had access to a lot of sports, which was great. I mean, my whole family is fairly athletic, and we watched. My mom used to mark for the World Series. She made her own little scorecard, and we watched football, golf, of course, tennis, the whole 9 yards.
When you come into the villages, do you bring your own caddy with you, or is there one assigned to you?
When I get there, and if I qualify, I'm going to have to find a caddy. And luckily, I'm down in Florida, and there's a lot of guys that used to caddy on the tour are available.
Oh, really?
So hopefully I'll pick up one of those guys.
So you couldn't have, like, Robin or I couldn't do it?
No, you could do it.
We could do it?
Really?
We wouldn't know what we were doing.
As long as, as they say, it's like, keep up and just keep quiet, basically.
You say,
all
give
you
me a
gotta
do you say, give me a 4 iron and I have to look for that number?
do. Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
See, I wouldn't find that number. Give me a 4. Oh, which one is it?
Since you are a professional golfer and then you caddied for the golfers, did they rely on your expertise when they had a problem with the hole before they
What would
took
you
the
do?
swing?
Yeah.
Did they ever do that? Yeah.
Well, yes. Again, like as I said, I mean, you know, I having been in that situation and having been the one hitting the shots, and also asking my caddy their opinion. Yeah, they definitely. I mean, not all of them, but most of them relied on my expertise. Yeah.
Since you were diagnosed, did you feel that the doctors were going to tell you that it was fatal when you were diagnosed in 1996?
No, that was one thing that was probably got that out of the way, and right at the time of telling me that I had relapsing remitting MS, that it was not fatal, and I mean that was, you know, I mean in the midst of everything, I mean that is a relief to hear that.
Oh yeah,
I bet.
You know, I mean,
Yeah, sure.
you know, no doubt.
Yeah.
Then I just had to kind of process everything else that was being told to me at the time, which was a lot of information, and you know, then you have to do your own studying as well, and that's what I did. So you know, just tried to figure everything out, and you know, I had to find a path that was right for me, and I think I got it with you know, taking my daily injection. I think it's huge for me because I feel like finally I have some control over a very uncontrollable disease. You know, again, I try to be sort of healthy, and you know, and I exercise like crazy.
Wow.
Heather Drew is our guest, and she is going to be in the Villages, and well, hopefully playing. She's going to qualify, try to qualify. She is going to qualify. She is going to qualify.
Yes.
Positive.
Yeah, we're using positive.
And
You know.
now, if we do, we need to buy tickets to if we want to see you, right?
I think yes, and I don't think the tickets are too expensive. I don't think they're like really pricey. So you can probably either call the Lopez course up there at the Villages, or you could go online and check out the Walgreens Charity Classic. I know that they have a website.
Well, the website we have is the Legends Tour. Is that right?
Okay, yeah, that's our senior tour.
Okay.
You know, that's our website, but I think that the tournament itself has got one. So if you look at Walgreens Charity Classic, you know, at the Villages, I imagine they've got some information about the parking and ticket prices and that type of thing.
You don't sound old enough to be a senior.
Thank you.
Yes, it's true.
Okay, you just made my day, and it's not even 6:30 out here.
I just think it's awesome that you're on a tour called the Legends Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
Better than senior.
Do you have to have a cape or something? I mean, you or a big belt or something.
We should get big belts. Those are in now.
Sometimes sports can be tarnished, and then there will be a lull about audience support. How do you overcome that? How does a player overcome that, and then the audience support comes back?
Well, I think that you know, let's just say as an example, let's use the Tiger Woods and his, you know, problems of over the last couple of years. You know, I mean, his popularity waned a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then you saw once he started playing well and winning again, you know, we won at Bay Hill, and you know, I mean, he's, you know, golfers are pretty loyal folks, and I think they appreciate. What do I want to say? You can, excuse me, you can separate, you know, the person from the sport.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are intrinsically tied together. But you know, they you can separate them, and their actions are one thing, and their performances on the field are another.
Oh, wow.
All right, I went to your website, and let's see, the Walgreens Charity Championship, April. Ooh, that's next week, huh? April 27th.
Well, yes, it's the weekend.
So 27, 28. Oh, that's this week. Okay. Tickets are available online. Go to thelegendstour.com, or you can go down to the Walgreens stores in the villages.
There you go.
Actually, they're 50% off at the Walgreens store.
Oh, nice.
Doesn't say what they cost, but they half off. Well, thank you for being on the air, getting up early, and to help inspire us with what you do in spite of what you have, if that makes sense. And I'm with you. I wouldn't let anything define me other than what I felt I was about.
Thank you for saying that. And it was great talking with you guys. And if you come on out, just say hi to me, and we'll have a cup of coffee or something.
We'll wave. We'll have a 4-iron. We found one.
We found the 4-iron.
We found one. And you'll be covering your face. Oh, this is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Those Heather, thank you for being with us. Heather Drew, if you're just tuning in, and have a great flight to Florida, and looking forward to bumping into you. I'll get down there.
All right, that sounds great, Larry. Robin, thank you so much for having me on and letting me tell a little bit about my story.
Oh, excellent. And I know you're inspiring a lot of people who don't even have an interest in golf, just simply because you're doing what you love to do.
Exactly.
I like to hear that.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break and be right back.
The Huckabee Report is brought to you by Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, Ocala.
We may not have the kind of winters they have up north, but Florida weather can be still pretty rough on your ride. And Ford Lincoln of Ocala wants to save you money and time during their Restore Your Ride service event. Right now, you can drive into Ford Lincoln of Ocala, receive a free brake inspection, and if it's determined you need brake work, you can receive up to a $50 rebate on Motorcraft brake service when you use your Ford service credit card. And if it's